Do you love having ideas to just bust your stash quickly? Hi, I'm Jess from jesscrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have A2 paper busting template number 8, which shows you how to make one A2 size card from a piece of A2 size paper without any patterned paper scraps. This also works with 8.5 by 11 paper because when you cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper into 4 equal parts, you will get 4 pieces of A2 size paper. So we are gonna bust through some paper quick today. It's a very, very simple sketch. I have it as part of the collection though. I have it as a printable download so that you can remember this idea. You take your A2 size piece of patterned paper. I'm using Market Bloom from scrapbook.com. They give out, I've definitely gotten freebie A2 paper pads from them. So look in your stash, maybe you got something. Maybe you can cut down some 8.5 by 11 paper. We're gonna take our A2 paper and we have it the 5.5 inch length. We're gonna just cut 2 inches off of it. And you could do this with multiple sheets of paper at one time. I'm gonna make 2 quick cards just because I went into my stash of like pre-cut embellishments. These ones are printed from Creative Fabrica, but I do sometimes Copic color things and cut them out just because I want to have fun with Copic coloring, but I don't have a card in mind, and so sometimes I have those. But these ones are just like I pre-printed them. Maybe you have some die cut embellishments you bought that go with the collection. Okay, so since I have 2 of those, I cut 2, and then I need one other thing. This is a strip of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So those measurements are right here for you. You can download this template and the first link in the video description. And you can cut these without making scraps too, because I have a piece of A2 cardstock. Again, you can cut 8.5 by 11 perfectly into this size too, but this happens to be the joyful cardstock. And I'm gonna cut 1/2 inch strip and another 1/2 inch strip. And this is basically going to cover my seam. So let's assemble this super quick card. We put adhesive on one side of that 2 by 4 1/4 inch strip, and we place that at the top of the card. Although you can absolutely just reverse this if for whatever reason that works better for you. And then we're gonna use the opposite side of the pattern paper. I absolutely recommend double-sided paper for this, but you can do it with single-sided paper. The only consideration you'd have there is you might want to choose 2 pieces so that you can do this flip, because otherwise you're just taping the 2 pieces back together. But the way that we kind of smooth this out and make it look a little more intentional is by taking this strip of cardstock and adding it over that seam. It's not a must-do, but I like the way that it kind of just finishes off it a little bit, and it gives us the perfect place to put our sentiment and to ground our embellishment. I did honestly hesitate to use this paper with these strips because I was like, ooh, then I'm gonna have to really line things up well. Same thing here because I have all these grids, but it's working out so far. We just need to add a sentiment and adhere our flamingo to our card. I'm going to the MFT Itty Bitty Summer stamp set. I like stamp sets with a lot of small sayings in it like this. This one does have a couple specific summer things or like beach references, but I'm just gonna stamp sending good vibes. Now, you will want to be careful because once you've adhered this, it's gonna be a little bit frustrating if you have to take it up. So maybe you wanna stamp your sentiment before you place everything down on your card. I usually also like to stamp off on a scrap piece of paper, but I don't have one right now, so we might just be taking a risk today. So we're gonna stamp our sentiment. I never bother to get out my MISTI for something like this. I usually just make sure I take my time and leave my stamp on the paper for a few seconds so the ink really has time to transfer. I think when you have a stamping platform, you can sometimes get used to doing a quick stamping, and that's actually not the ideal way to stamp. We kind of forget, oh yeah, you're supposed to like leave it on there for a second. Okay, so I could just tape my flamingo down, or I can take my, I'm gonna use this instead of foam tape. You could just take your foam tape if that's what you do. But a lot of times I have extra cardstock when I'm making my cards. I do no scrap templates that are all about using patterned paper, but they don't use up all the cardstock. So then I take my extra bits of cardstock And I have them for things like making fake foam tape by taking 2 layers of extra cardstock or more, depending on how the thickness of your cardstock, and making like little strips that are thick like this that I can then cut up and put behind things. And then, you know, I get rid of my cardstock scraps and I don't spend money on foam tape. I know y'all have heard that a million times from me if you follow my channel, but again, it's always for the newbies because it's the biggest tip for getting rid of those cardstock scraps in my mind. But this, perfect use for scraps because you only need a teeny tiny bit of cardstock today. And then we'll place it on the card and I can just keep going. I can make as many of these as I had these extra embellishments for. And even if I didn't have this embellishment already printed and cut out, which I happened to, it wouldn't take that long to print a bunch of these from Creative Fabrica and either fussy cut them or use a die cutting machine. And then you have some really, really quick cards that you can use to bless your family and friends or to send to organizations. If you want to send your cards, donate your cards, there's always a link in the video description to my page on jesscrafts.com. And there are summer jokes, especially for a card like this. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.